Tamara Mathebula is the chair of the Commission for Gender Equality. She joins me now. Madam Chair, good afternoon to you. Firstly, like everyone, I suppose you may be shocked, and I hate to say this, but probably not surprised that we've had yet more attacks on women.
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your listeners. Yes, I must say that we have observed with disgust the number of women that have killed during the few days in South Africa, and not only in one province but in several provinces. And this has actually sent a shock wave in the country, but also we are also saying we are sending our condolences to the families that have lost their young ones due to femicide, gender-based violence during this time.
Ma'am, you'll know better than I how difficult it is to stop this. We've seen it time and time and time again. A woman will be killed by a man, there'll be an outcry, several women will be killed, there'll be an outcry, then it goes away, then it comes back again. What's it going to take to change the cycle? Is government taking this seriously enough? And there's been promise after promise on this.
I must say that government, especially the current administration led by the President Cyril Ramaphosa, has actually been taking on quite a lot in terms of raising awareness, but not only raising awareness, but putting systems in place that ensure that we deal decisively with sexual gender-based violence in the country. In South Africa, we have a number of interventions to address the issues of sexual gender-based violence and femicide. The President has actually led some of the main fora that we have staged in South Africa, and in those fora the President actually declared, and we came out with a declaration that was saying we need a national coordinated structures, we need to intensify our efforts and our programs in addressing sexual and gender-based violence. We also need to make sure that we look at strengthening the law enforcement, including the legislations and policies that we have in South Africa, two of which are currently under review, which is the Domestic Violence Act and the Sexual Offences and Amendment Act.
I understand how helpful a change in the law can be, and I think police officials have said this before, in the end you can't put a police officer in every home or even in every tavern. I mean, is there something different with our society? Are there lessons from other societies maybe we can learn in how to stop this?
I think we can learn other countries and other societies how they have been dealing with sexual violence, gender-based violence, domestic violence. But all I can say is that our justice system is a bit lax, and we need to look at strengthening the justice system. We need to look at the police, how police are trained to handle these criminal cases, how courts are able to deal with these criminal cases, and make sure that we strengthen and we make sure that perpetrators are brought to book. They are not given bail. Their sentences are even harsher than they are now. And other countries really even opt to, giving them a life sentence for killing a person, not to mention killing a woman and killing a child who is defenseless at this stage.
I would imagine one of the conversations we could have, because of what's been happening during this time, is whether or not we should ban alcohol. Do you think we should ban alcohol? Would that make a change?
I think what we have observed during the lockdown, stage 5 and 4, is that, with the ban of alcohol, the numbers of sexual and gender-based violence and femicide decreased drastically. So from where I am sitting, I would definitely say let's ban alcohol for now. Let's make sure that people cannot access alcohol. Even if we think that we're going into stage 2 or stage 3, but we must ban alcohol because it has proven beyond reasonable doubt that most of the crimes that have been done recently are done by the people who claim that they were under influence of alcohol or any kind of substance, for an example.
It's quite a strong view that you're expressing there. I know the Police Minister, Bheki Cele, will agree with you. There'll be strong opposition to what you're saying as well.
Well, I think that the minister will definitely agree with me because he is also, opposing the fact that people must actually access alcohol in South Africa. So I really think that, people must learn to respect themselves, to respect their spouses and partners, and must avoid drinking and doing things that they will regret at the end of the day.
So one of the things about a problem like this, and it's not just about alcohol, I'm talking generally about gender violence, attacks by men against women, is that we all know that we can't solve this problem in a day or in a year even. Do you think the interventions that we've made, that we're making now, the conversations we're having, are going to make it safer for our daughters than it is now in 10 years' time? Or do you think we might actually be back where we are in 10 years' time? And I hate to say it, but I go back to the original point where, I mean, you and I have had this conversation, ma'am, so many times that, you know, the story goes away and then it comes back. I have the horrible sense it's just not changing.
Yes, I must say that, you know, if you look at how we dealt as a country with the issue of HIV infections, you know, those issues were actually escalating at some point, and we were actually losing hope and thinking that, you know, everyone will actually be infected in South Africa, because these issues around HIV infection, sexual and gender-based violence, and femicide are issues that revolve around behavior of individuals and behavior of our society. So I strongly feel that if we raise enough awareness, we educate our public, we make sure that we target men and young boys with our messages, definitely in the next 10 years' time we would be seeing some difference in terms of the numbers of women and children that are killed and kidnapped at this moment in time.